All right. Hello, and welcome back to FanRP. We're running into starting locations at the moment. I believe that things just started, so we're gonna try and slip up into the corporate docks. Been having a good night so far? Hopefully today's a calmer session compared to last week. Bit late to the starting spot. There we go. We got a fair bit to deal with today. Actually, my hip's still doing weird things. Yeah, I think I'm gonna quickly check that off and see if it... Yeah, this stinking hip has been acting up so much lately. That's the wrong button. There we go. Ah! I'm trying to fix my hip.
Oh no.
There. I think that's good enough. Does it look weird
I'm
at all?
just waiting a minute or two till it. No, don't see any weird gyrating. Seems fine.
Okay. It'll have to do.
Do I still?
See you in there.
Yeah. Just waiting a minute or two before going in.
Yeah. Alright. Hopefully the hip doesn't keep acting up throughout the session. Seems to not want to stay in one place. Alright. Here we go. Good morning.
Morning.
Everything alright?
Yeah. When is everything alright?
How have things been with rain?
Uh, there's been a falling out. We've decided, no longer at Geb that we're going to, support them in their behavior, so we've, cut them from the watch and protection list.
I see.
As you're aware, they, ended up maiming a bunch of people in the, Undercity. And, we felt that, due to those actions, along with some other stuff in the past, I think you know the stuff that she's done.
Indeed.
We can't condone that type of behavior. Not if they're going to be getting a free pass because they're under our watch. So
I agree. Do you know where she is now?
we can find her. We just don't really have a reason to yet. Yeah, the corporations might, but we're gonna take some time to figure out what we're gonna do because we just crossed the line.
Very well. I'll be here. let me know if there's a way I can help.
Mm-hmm.
Take care. Give one nice check. Looking good. What day? Right. What do we have on the list? Oh, crap. That's only got 1 day left. So yeah, we gotta work on that. Finish the, whatchamacallit, personality core for Genevieve. Gotta weaponize the CC blood. Work on Croak stuff. Meet up with Masaru. And then just prep for more nowhere stuff. And get the clinic repaired in the Undercity. Yeah, so anything I need to ping GMs for? Probably not. I think we're good for now. I just need to talk to Harper first. That might be a bit later. Good morning.
Ah, morning.
Fairly quiet today. It's a relief compared to yesterday.
It's. Yeah, I saw the report. How is the image?
There's going to be a lot of repair needed. It's a good thing we got that contract.
Yeah.
There's a smaller amount of things on the list today, but they're more important. We only have 1 day left to get that project done for Genevieve.
Do you have anyone in the area that is good at this
I believe
type of
Fortuna was supposed to assist.
computing? Alright. See if we can get them on the project today. Even if it's not perfect, just a rush job, just to get something out the door would be good.
Indeed. Other than
'Cause we
that,
don't necessarily need to sabotage it, because we've already done our part in that. Should be enough,
precisely.
if it comes to that.
need to finish working on the blood sample. As well as,
Yes, if Lord Crook's around today, we can proceed with what he wanted.
indeed. You said that that was up to finished status, correct?
Just needs his input on exactly what we're doing.
Very good. We'll need to speak with Masaru later. And I'll need to ensure that those repairs to the clinic are underway. But other than that, the major thing is making sure that that project is finished by tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the
I'll put down her when she's
weaponization
angry.
of the blood sample.
Yes.
I suppose I should start by trying to find Fortuna.
That would be a good start.
And it's been a long few days. I might get something to eat.
Yeah, I already got my breakfast. It was pretty good. They got both diners open. It's pretty nice for once.
Well,
Options.
indeed. I'd best capitalize while I have the chance.
Yeah. At some point today, I might head down to the wasteland to pick up some supplies so I can craft some med kits.
I see. I can also perhaps make some calls and see if we can get any moved down.
They didn't know what the noodle shop was. Bye. I mean, it's adorable, but I don't know what the fuck it is.
Hello? Wait, what am I?
Just the man I was looking for.
You're whatever you want to be.
Good morning.
Mind if we have a moment at the clinic real quick?
Indeed, right this way.
I'm only just existing and I don't understand what do I say. Oh, no.
After you.
Thank
you. Right.
Right. I brought the sample. As was mentioned yesterday, the sample was highly volatile. Could have went through the bottle at any moment. Luckily, I brought it home, put it into a monocentrifuge. I stabilized it, and now it's ready for experimentation.
I see.
So
Was
if you want to
it-
have your team on it,
That I will. Does it still carry all the potency it did before?
hard to say. I don't really have any equipment at home for that kind of experimentation. But at least now it won't be going through all of your equipment and all the way down to, the Undercity. So at least
Indeed.
now it's usable
Are you sure
compared
that
to what it was before.
our scanners would be better than yours?
I asked the higher ups. They told me bring it here.
Very well. We'll see what we can do, and if not, we'll pull it back to you and see what you can bring up.
All right. Sounds good.
Is
Just
there
make
any
sure
other
to
updates?
send the result to Augustine as well. I'm pretty
That I
sure
will.
he would be highly interested with this. All right. I'll be going now. Going back to my
Of course.
leisurely.
And do stay safe out there.
Have a good day.
I'm sure that you've painted a bit of I'm sure that there's a bit of interest around your person. Be careful.
There always is, huh? Same for you.
Indeed. Take care.
At a later date, probably.
Change of plans, Harper, if you can hear me. There's something that we need to get to now.
Very well, on my way.
Man, now my foot's acting up. Right. We need to get to looking at this.
All right. I can probably guess what that could be.
Indeed.
In which case, I could take a look at that.
Hello.
All right, I'm assuming this is nowhere's. Assuming this is.
No, this is the lightning creature from yesterday.
Lightning creep. Oh, right. I forgot that.
Yep.
Okay. And back up. We are testing a lightning creature's blood.
Yeah, first thing you'll notice, as you open the bottle, it's kind of like a thick black liquid. It seems to crawl and grovel at the opening to escape the beaker.
Ugh. All right. It's been gnarly looking.
Make sure you have a protective
Nice.
equipment on.
Always do.
Mm-hmm.
Does this float?
Alright.
Does not float. Alrighty.
Anything in particular you're looking for, or are you just seeing what you can get out of it?
General scan to see what the composition is and all that good stuff.
Yep.
These files.
Alright. Well- It loads into the machine. It's compiling all the data. And the first thing that it pops up with is you get a match of a person. Blood of Alistair
Oh.
McNeely, an 87-year-old who was last seen in a weathered cardigan, the cab driver.
No. No, 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 no,
He's
no, no,
lost. Seen his home waiting for his family to return home. He comes up with a missing persons report.
Sloan? This was a missing person. I think they're turning people to kidnap into monsters.
A few more seconds go by, and another match comes up as one Amelia Skylark.
What? Amelia? What the? How did they even get
And what?
Amelia's blood is also in this thing? I'm not quite sure how they would have got her blood. The only people I know that have her blood were Masaru. Do you think Masaru is working with him? In some regard?
Well, surely it has to be.
Yeah, I know Skylark, they do not give up their blood for nothing. The only way
Indeed.
they've ever had their blood taken was when I took it for Saru. We should probably definitely get Amelia in on this.
We should. We can gauge whether or not it was of her own
Holy
volition
shit.
donating or not. And if not, Osaru must have a mole.
At the very least, Amelia deserves to know that she's in some point a part of that creature. Not quite sure. Maybe it's something to do with the magic in their blood.
Most likely.
I might have to ask mages we can trust, because right now Masaru is looking a little iffy with this information. Dexter, I don't think he knows anything about magic. Maybe Maroon?
Maybe.
That would be a risk.
He was one of the only ones that was not
Probably the
glowing.
best guess we got. True. He's around. Maybe we can question him about it. Because I don't know the first thing about magic. This is troubling news indeed. I will put the rest of the sample in cold storage for further testing at a later date.
Very good. This is deeply
Right.
concerning.
Let's see if we can find Amelia.
If that
Very.
is the case, one thing I just remembered is that we should run the scans on the corpses. We were able to collect some of the shadow wyverns.
God, are you with it? Yes, you are. Okay. Where would we scan a corpse? Maybe this big machine?
I assume they'd be in the morgue.
Oh, true. Ooh, I gotta think for this. I brought this upstairs today.
What is that?
Technically it's the data pad that's always on the lower floor.
I didn't know
It
that was there.
uses data, so it looks more better. Yeah. It doesn't have colliders in it, so it always falls. So you can only put it in those two tables.
I see.
Should do as a good scanner. You don't think these things will come back alive, do you?
I would certainly hope not. I don't think we need necromancy mixed in with things.
God, I hope not. Alrighty. We are running a scan on those things that came up with us.
Alright. As you do the autopsy, it becomes pretty clear that the death was from multiple bullet wounds and blood loss. You also notice that they were, upon death, chocked full of Avalon stimulants.
Do we have a possible ID on this body? Does it match the blood we had, or different person perhaps?
As you look over the identity of this person, it doesn't match anyone you recognize.
I see. Alright, didn't get much here, but all we do have is that with that little thing we might have going on, one backfire of it is that it is hyped up on stimulants via Avalon.
What sort of stimulants?
Generic health stims.
I see.
I made it more beefy, I guess you could say. You could say it was juiced up, I guess you could say. My best guess. A
Right.
side product of a critical strike possibility, I guess we could say.
Do you know if we currently have any means to counteract those stimulants' effects?
I could look into it. Maybe something we could lace our bullets with.
Or perhaps we
See
could
what we can do.
make them into an aerosol and make it into a grenade.
Yeah, that might work. Is God still? Yes, they are.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to look at the composition of the stimulants we give them and see if we could perhaps get them to neutralize that in the form of a vapor that can be put into a gas grenade.
Alright.
So, well, data pad's handy. I ain't gotta run the computer.
Indeed. Well, that's why I have
So we got a thing in your arm. I need to
this
get one of
baby.
these now. I need to get one of those.
Click repair. Talk to Masaru.
Alright. With what you know about these stimulants and your medical knowledge, you are pretty sure you have a good idea of where to start. It will take just a little bit of time to research and develop.
Alrighty. Before you go, can I get a preemptive roll for when I start to work on that?
I already did. It's pretty good.
Okay, I'll just go.
So-
I'll RP
And-
that out, and we'll continue next session on working on it.
Also, before you go, have repairs on the Undercity Clinic already began?
Let me double check on that.
We do also have a building contract with Geb.
Yes, I believe I can make something work with this. Might take some time, but I should be able to cook something up.
Perfect. And what of that other...
Currently, it's going under thorough investigation and cleanup. Repairs should be undergoing soon.
Very well. And what of the other pet project we have going?
The croak one?
The enhancement of our soldiers.
Did we get clearance from Apai to do that?
I might have forgotten to do that. I can do that now.
Alrighty. I'll go start working on this weapon. See if I can get a little progress on it.
Very good, and I'll make the call. Darn, can't catch him. What?
Hello.
Hello. There's two things I'd like to do. First is I would like to run a approval check by upper management and by the research and development department if starting a super soldier program would seem like a good idea. It could be something that could be
flesh weaving. That's the only way. That's the only. So there's
Absolutely.
no way
Are you
with
hearing
a
that?
magic like those things can be made. Amalgamation of
Hearing what?
flesh.
I'm hearing Lilith talking somewhere.
You're unmuted, Lilith.
Are they on the radio?
They were unmuted. Sorry.
Mm.
The idea is to give them, faster, more strength, faster reaction time, and it could also be something that could be sold to other corporations in limited amounts. To have super soldiers.
Hmm.
It could kind of be like a minor version of our own Beowulfs kind of thing, to be a thing to sell to other corporations.
All right. I'll have to talk with main GMs about that.
Alrighty. That was the first thing, and then secondly was...
Excellent.
I would like to send a message to Fortuna to tell her that we need to get to work on the Genevieve project today and get it done.
See if I can finish it. Very good start.
All right. Sending a message to Fortuna
Yes, please.
about the Genevieve project, right?
Yes.
That's what you said. All right. I will be heading over if they're in the map.
Alrighty. That's all I needed for now. Thank you.
All right.
Righty. I sent that up for approval, and it's currently going through processing.
Very good. I've taking great leaps and bounds with this grenade. As you can see here, we have the basic design of it. And for here and here, we had 2 canisters, each filled with the gas that will release, and should theoretically nullify their enhancements to some degree.
Perfect.
I have a lot of the data processing. I should need probably another crack or 2 at it, and it should be good to go. But making great strides.
Very
Thankfully,
good.
it's pretty easy.
Would it also be possible to
I sup-
perhaps put these into a sprayer of sorts, affixed to a set location?
Yeah, that should be fine. I mean, if you can put in the grenade, you can just put it in a tanker and just set a timer on it. Easy.
Very good.
Even easier than a grenade, honestly. Just trap a room, I guess.
Indeed. Well,
While we wait for Fortuna to show up, shall we go find Amelia? Give them the wonderful news?
that we should. I was also given the Geb radio, so I could try radioing in.
We could bring her to us, I suppose. Either or.
And on a smaller note, Alice, I would like to talk at some point today.
Alright.
They don't seem to be in the diner anymore, so I'll send out a radio ping.
Very well. I'll check their other spot. Usually.
This is Welby Sloan on Geb radio. Is there a Miss Skylark on the line?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Indeed.
Uh-oh. I don't think they can...
Are you free at the
What's up?
moment to come to the clinic? There's a matter of importance that has
I can come to-
come up.
I can come to the clinic right now. Okay.
Perfect. We'll be waiting. They're on their way. That sounded close. That sounds closer.
That did. Also, Metsu sounding.
Indeed.
Does anyone has those?
May have been some scuffle in an alleyway.
Peculiar. Maybe.
A couple of those, those bugs that attacked the city a while back. A couple of them were down there by the noodle shop. I'm quickly running my food back to the apartment, and I'm gonna go
Hey,
deal
what's
with
up?
that.
Hello. Please step inside. Could you get the door?
Model slouching Steve.
Very well.
Just very slight.
Thank you. Give me a moment.
The last time I fucking did this, I got my blood drawn. What is this? What the fuck is this?
Am I so
Oh.
slouchy?
We'll save that for once we get up to the computers. You're good.
It is another matter relating to your blood again.
Oh boy, what is it?
Best you saw for yourself.
Though the upstairs
Okay,
is still not clean. Down here is.
Okay. Well, we ran some tests on the bodies we had. Turns out there's abominations. They match identities of people that were taken. Their blood identity came up, and so did yours. Your blood is inside those things.
Specifically,
Exactly.
The one that was
I know you're not
electrically
the type
charged.
to just roll
Wait,
your
what?
blood around.
So wait. So you said that there were Wait, sorry. Repeat that.
Yesterday, there was a massive magical creature that had appeared that was able to summon lightning.
Uh-huh.
That same creature
Uh-huh.
matched a missing person's identity and genetic makeup and your blood.
So somehow they managed to get my blood from Masaru, because I don't exactly go around and give out my blood. Let alone to
Exactly what I was
fuckers who
thinking.
murder innocent people. So if you think I'm fucking working with them, I'd rather be put on trial and fucking executed. Holding my word. I
Needless to
have no
say,
reason to
Masaru is very
side with those
suspicious at
fucking
this
murderers.
point.
Yeah, it's.
Do you know
I'll
anyone
talk to
who was
Masaru.
in charge of taking your blood?
There's two people who were there that handled my blood directly. Cross and Anessa. Those are the two people from Masaru. I don't know what happened after that, though.
Indeed.
If I find Augustine, I can talk to them about that more. So.
Yes, I believe that we should speak to him about this.
Did we believe that there were moles inside the corporations working with the Shadow Wyverns?
Yes, we do.
Okay. They could be moles, potentially one of the two, but there could also just be some other security personnel that's kind of outside of our area that managed to get access to my blood. Now that fucking concern. At the same time, I don't think they can keep replicating my blood, so unless they get more of my blood, they can't do anything. So I guess that makes me feel better that, well, if anyone wanted to track me down, they don't have my blood. I don't think they can just, considering how little I gave out, there's only a finite amount of it. So I think it's the thing I saw, yeah.
Fair
And also that's
assumption.
really fucking concerning that they can take some mage's blood and then gain their abilities. So.
This is good to
Indeed.
know.
Do you think in the future too we need to really be careful of who, not like anyone specifically with a mana affinity, if from what the information I heard about him it matches and aligns up, so potentially in the future they might be taking other people's blood and giving it to them. This is what I'm saying. So we might need to be extra careful for people with those types of affinities, which unfortunately, it's not practical. There's so many mages that are not registered by Masaru, and it's already been a hell and an upstart, and there's no way people are going to suddenly start working with Masaru to be tracked, pretty much. Because, well, also, not only that, but Masaru has let their blood get taken somehow. Like, they have so it's not even gonna fucking work, so it's actually probably safer for them to not get involved, but I don't know.
You have to think the possibility. If it is Masaru, it could very well be Augustine himself that's working with him.
I don't think it's Augustine.
You don't think
Indeed.
so?
I don't
so.
believe so because of the amount of people he directly answers to on a daily basis. He would have to be playing an
I also am,
extremely
like,
good
Very
game.
well.
I mean, if it's gonna be anyone, is it not just potentially Anessa, the fucking necromancer?
That may well
I
be.
mean, that's a very
I don't think they have a
easy
very
one to point
corporate
to,
agenda
but
on them, from the sounds of it.
it could be too obvious, too.
Either that or
But if you don't
Cross is
believe it's him,
fucking-
that's fine, because I know you two know him a lot
I
better
mean,
than I do.
It is also, isn't it a bit like weird that like Cross also has been pushing this blood drive stuff very hard as of late,
That
like
was
not
my
chilling
fault.
out on it.
Does add up.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Augustine knows about this blood drive.
Oh, he does.
You are here
He
and not
does.
at the
I
door.
told them.
Maybe make your presence.
Oh,
just
would you get that?
knocking on the door. Fucking thick, fucking multiple layer.
Hello.
Hello.
How can I help you?
Was
The
there
other
anything else
day,
that you needed me for?
yesterday, I had
That was
taken
all.
A minor. I was shot in the side.
Other than that, perhaps the construction project.
Need
I
a
was
patching
wondering
up?
if I could get it treated. Yeah.
What was the construction
problem.
project? Oh, it's
I'll take you upstairs.
Rebuilding the
rebuilding
other city.
stuff in the Okay.
I'll be out here, Martin.
You already signed insurance and stuff. Yeah, that should already be covered. We have the
Indeed.
insurance. In that case, I'll make a
Good morning.
Great to know. To send stuff over.
Yes, good morning.
How bad did you get hit?
You should be able to.
Is the pad by chance staying here?
Minor. For my best.
Not here, no.
Immune site caught it.
Wonderful.
Why do you need him?
I'm gonna head out.
Indeed. Take care. Keep me updated.
Yes, I came here to meet with him, and apparently he's wasting my time right now.
I see. Well, you are welcome to stay in this space to wait for him if you wish.
Very well.
Is there a line or something?
Do you have any of the... By the way, does everyone have any footage of those amalgamations that, you know, who sent over yesterday?
That we do. We also have the corpses.
May I look at them real quick? Then, since I'm here, I might not waste time.
Indeed. We can do that in just a moment. Is there something you needed, Mr. Ash?
Oh, you guys can finish your business. I can wait.
Very well.
Unless Dr. Harper is around.
They're currently, indisposed at the moment.
Okay, that's fine. I can wait out here.
You can wait on a seat if you wish. But right this way.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Is there a particular reason for the armor, or just, general sense?
Safety and procedure. You're looking at the Director of Operations of Shimizu.
Ah, congratulations.
Head of Operations, correction. And as such, I can't afford to go out in the slums unprepared.
I agree.
Alright. Well, it turns out our refrigerator is currently not working, so all of the items are defaulted at the moment.
Right to here. There's one right here, and another over there.
I'm sitting right here, dude. You need help.
Examining these bodies as far as, what type, how they're created in schools and whatnot.
Oh. Are you being assisted?
I'm here. They're looking over the bodies. I can answer if you want.
Oh, for sure.
Is this the Swyvern or the Amalgamation Corpse?
These are the, Swyverns.
I'm doing both, but...
The big guys in the black suits with the white masks.
Yes. Alright. These, as you look over them, you have, of course, been in many a battles. This body is littered with bullets. So the thing that you can imagine is what caused their death is that and blood loss.
Any sort of magic tampering that I can sense with them?
Not with them, no.
Okay, and then you said the amalgamations where?
I'm not sure if we were able to get a hold of those. I know that one was tossed in the incinerator before we were able to grab it. We might have grabbed a second one.
I don't think that I was told that you brought one of those up. I thought you had just brought Swyvern bodies up.
That's what I thought as well.
Okay. I don't see anything too out of the ordinary. It's standard damage from the... Obviously, succumb to their wounds like normal beings. I don't see anything that's out of the ordinary for them. So clearly I don't think there's any tampering as far as their will. They found this man willingly from the looks of it.
Indeed.
As far as the amalgamations, I can't make a proper assessment without seeing the body physically itself.
We were able to get
Look over the footage if you can afford them.
we were able to get some samples of it, and they had some perturbing results.
May I see those samples then?
I can tell you the results right now. The creature's biomass registered to that of one of the missing individuals from months ago. Additionally, there was imbuement of magical blood. So it would seem that he is taking these missing individuals and turning them into these abominations.
Yes. Very skills that are not easily acquired. Blood magic. And flesh weaving. An aspect of shadow magic.
I see. Does this involve,
That's the only way I can think of they would create.
does this involve mana at all?
Yes. The blood's a very special type of magic. Something that's very rare.
I see. Is this able to help tell more about him?
That gives me a hint as far as that. The magical nature of the blood itself, it's like a conduit to him.
I see. Have you been brought up to date as to recent events?
Perhaps. Feel free to interrupt whatever is recent if I haven't.
Very well. Were you able to be scanned by the crystal?
Yes, moderate. There's a moderate level of energy with me.
I see. I feel it would be wise for us to have another scan before we continue this conversation.
Very well. Proceed.
Well, the issue comes that MP currently has it, and I'm not sure where she is. But
Understood then.
hopefully, a second scan will show that the glow has diminished. If not, I'm afraid I'm going to have to keep more elements vague, for safety's sake.
Very well.
Try changing your voice thing off of what you're using and then back onto it. Sometimes my index does that. Alright, someone will be with you shortly. Got it.
Hey, God.
Which one?
Either one. Can I send a ping to MP to tell them to come to the clinic? I did give them a communicator.
Sure, they're here. Look.
Thank you. There, I've sent out a ping, and hopefully they should be on the way.
Very well.
I also don't believe I have, Shimatsu's comms as of yet.
Archon Network 35.
Very good. Of course, Avalon is 25.
I don't see mugs today.
On either map?
Mm-mm.
Oh dear. Is there a way that we can, like, use the crystal still, or should that just wait?
Does anyone know where MP lives?
I do not. I think it's somewhere in the Undercity.
Let me see. I mean, you'd have to ask someone who is here to go get it. I have to figure out where she lives, though.
I can certainly make that call if needed. Has everything gone well?
If you're speaking, we can't hear you.
He's been struck mute.
I can't hear one of the gods either.
They could be whispering. Right, Papa, can you say something?
I'm in whisper range.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear.
Yeah,
I can't hear these
Hello.
things.
No, I haven't been speaking.
OSL was
I can't hear
shut down
Mezzo, and I
slight,
can't
like,
hear
for like
Betsy.
3 minutes for me, and then it came back.
What?
Mez is rejoining the world. I might just rejoin the world too.
Well,
Oh boy, tech issues. Yeehaw.
he strikes again.
Yeah, you might want to rejoin Dexy. Now he's stealing our voices. My god.
While we have a moment, could I just clarify, like, I want to
Yeah.
make sure I got the ping to Fortuna right, because they are coming in an hour late, and I'm just sending it to them now.
Okay. Just basically that we need to finish the Genevieve stuff today.
Alright. Sounds good.
Wonderful stuff.
Oh yes, wonderful stuff.
Makes the world go round.
Mm-hmm.
So how has Shemetsu been treating you?
Quite well. Obviously, with the many things hurdles I had to go over, I gained a great deal of favor within the upper levels of Shimetsu.
Very good. I'm not sure if you've heard the word as well, but I've also been promoted to planetary head of security.
I see. Well, then Avalon should be very impressed with your duties then.
Indeed. Thankfully, I've been able to garner some more support for these events in the Undercity.
Sorry, much lore to discuss.
Ah, hello there. I guess we're RP Paul till Dexy gets back.
Yeah, and until we figure out the lore.
Alright.
Yeah, but it definitely has had a great deal of convenience. I don't have to go through as much hurdles to get what I need.
Precisely.
And let's just say the security measures within Shimetsu have been greatly increased as a result.
That's very good to hear.
Now, unfortunately, I'm unable to act currently with the lack of information with have I been listing my forces in preparation for what needs to happen.
Indeed. I believe even without this crystal, there is some conversation that can be had. Have you also been updated as to how his influence can work about? And be tied to certain locations?
I do believe they're pre-marked locations, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, what I mean to say is that I know that that spot is compromised and that downstairs is safe. So, let's continue this conversation downstairs. I can at least inform you on the things that I know that he knows. Would you like a seat?
Very well.
Yeah. There we go. So, firstly, we've been putting steps in place to ensure better defense of the Undercity. All involved forces have been coordinating. There are certain factors that I must keep vague, but we have pooled our resources a bit. I know that there are many that have already brought forces to bear. But, as far as Shometsu's part, are you willing to contribute any manpower?
Concerned I do not want this influence to spread any further, and this is nothing known to him. Yes, I'm willing to contribute.
Very good. There are certain locations that I can give to clean individuals to help distribute information to your men to set up at. We have key locations as defensive points around the city. Unfortunately, yesterday, the attack was a bit of a surprise, but thankfully, the clinic was empty of all major supplies and personnel, so they ransacked an empty clinic. That will quickly be rebuilt. I'm going to be pooling more forces down in that area now that the bloodshed has started. Initially, I was only having wyverns on standby for defense, but now direct Avalon forces will be in the area. That will be supplemented by Masaru mages, Shometsu forces, potentially Valkyrie if Lord Croak can be talked to soon, as well as the other corporations, and Undersack and the wyverns helping as well.
Understood.
Additionally, we know that he is operating out of the ship in orbit. Well, perhaps not quite in orbit yet, it's still on its way. He's able to teleport his forces from the ship down. We also have several means of negating his magics. We have means to sever his ties to areas, as well as prevent him from making teleportations. Though, of course, this is to be kept as tight-lipped as possible. I'm sure he's already privy to that fact. But I do believe that the attack yesterday was only a first wave. He's most likely going to try again. But this time around, we will be more ready. We've discussed the potentiality of blocking off certain tunnels, making it a more defensible route.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Well,
But those are
thank you.
most of the major points for the moment.
You too.
I see. Well, once I'm clear in green as far as the future points, any future locations will be absolutely imperative for me to know.
Indeed.
I may have a few inputs as far as how to, well, approach a battle stratagem with him as well.
Absolutely.
Being head of operations does give me a certain bit of, leeway in tactical guidance and whatnot.
Of course, and I would love to hear your input. I am still leading this project, but I am very much encouraging every voice to speak up and offer ideas.
Yes. As much as the Undercity is not an important investment to Shimetsu, the main key alliance plot there is his influence spreading to other reaches of Sanctuary City.
Precisely.
We can't have it reach any further. It's better to stamp this insect when it's still small and the nest is immature.
I agree. And I do believe I finally have an answer on those synthetics. I believe for the moment, with other investments undergoing, we will not be purchasing.
Understood. The window will certainly be open, since we are very good business partners.
I very much appreciate
so
that.
feel free, just let me know whenever.
I hope in the future, once things have cleared up a bit, perhaps we can make a purchase, but for now, there is the matters of defense.
But of course,
How do you take care of
I will say,
an animal? Exactly.
antique. I'm confident this might not be bad. You'll notice a sufficient change within our synthetics. We've learned a great deal from in the past few months. It'll be far more difficult to dispose of our synthetics. They won't be as compromisable as before. I've
Very
made
good.
sure of it.
Excellent. But I believe until you are more freely cleaned of any sites, that is the most that I can inform you of.
Understood. Well then, if that's the case then, until that day can happen, I shall try to get from this in other matters that I need to attend here, and hopefully we shall reconvene sooner than later.
Hopefully. Though, I do have an idea that if you do prove to be tied to him in a way, we do have a means that we can potentially test severing it. So far, it's only been tested on locations, not personnel.
Yes, I'm a bit uncertain of how deeply contacted is. I was never one of the people he abducted. He
Indeed.
spoke to me a couple times, taunting me, and simply whisked away my men as he pleased.
As of
So,
late,
I am unknown as far as that.
we do also know that he has communicated with others without teleportation. He seems to show up as a shadowy apparition in front of them and communicate through that. and those individuals seem to have the same glow about them.
I see.
Indeed. I've become more concerned with those that exhibit a greater glow.
I will say it's not by my own volition. If it were up to me,
Indeed.
my response would simply be to this to his forehead.
I would very much say the same. But I do believe from here on out, those that exhibit a still strong glow after recent events, a greater eye should be kept. Before, I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt as much as possible, but we can no longer take those chances.
Understood. I will say it was just a minute glow at that point, so hopefully, once it can be confirmed, whatever influence has been dissipated.
Absolutely. I will say that these same suspicions, perhaps, are not as strong with you. I do believe that you align with our interests of pushing him out of commission as much as us.
Precisely. He is shown to be a thorn in Shimetsu's side, and we can't allow that.
Absolutely. I will say that his largest victory against us so far is limiting communication. But hopefully, with these steps and perhaps with some tests to see if this same method works on personnel, we can once again re-establish strong logistics.
Indeed. And of course, I assume this goes with the security team as a whole, any member and anyone.
Absolutely. I will inform you that I have exhibited no glow from the start, and still exhibit none.
Very well. Very smart. I would think otherwise if you were not making so cautionary even of the smallest members of the team.
Indeed, I am keeping a close eye on all those that exhibit any glow. And I will try my best to keep you as updated as possible with the situation.
And you have my thanks then.
Of course. I very much appreciate the cooperation and fellowship that Shimetsu has provided. I hope that open business and communication can continue unabated.
That is Shimetsu's hope as well.
Very good. But until we can get a hold of MP and that crystal, I won't keep you any longer.
Very well then. Until later, Agent Sloan. A good day.
Indeed. Stay safe.
Bugs isn't lined up today. They aren't signed up today, and I'm afraid.
What was that?
Hear the door real quick.
Apologies. I thought it was open.
That's fine. It's good it was closed.
So you said that they're not signed up for today?
Bugs isn't. They're not signed up for today, and I just rolled for you to do like a mental piecing together. The crystal cannot sense who's being watched unless MP herself is touching the crystal. It
I
only can do
see.
rings.
Okay.
So it's kind of useless to bring it up anyways.
So you're saying that...
It's not totally useless, but you can't... I'm sure Sloan would notice that every time it can sense if a person is doing it, she is like the one touching it. It's not just like in the room and lighting up for no reason.
Okay. In that case, I'm
You
not gonna...
rolled really high for mental dot connection. That's what I get. So.
Yeah, I was just trying to make it so that we could still talk and do stuff.
Yeah. Gotcha. I mean, you can bring the crystal up to see if it works in rooms. If anything, what I'll do is
No,
say,
that's all right.
you ping and pee, and she leaves the crystal at the boat by the Undercity dock for you.
I think we can go without.
Want. Sure. Okay.
Thank you. Not a single shop open.
Otherwise, not too bad today. You too. Oh. I was checking out the shooting. It's just firing range. They're teaching Bendy how to shoot.
Right.
It's not the prettiest thing. It's very off target. So we get in the firefight. I am behind Bendy, no matter the cost. Then again, he was firing one of these instead of a little rope pistol, and then a
True.
revolver. Not the best choice to learn with, but for the teacher, do as you please. Not what I would use to teach someone, but hey.
Fair enough.
Anyways, I was thinking of running that test on the weaponized blood, and then afterwards, I was probably going to go down and get my shopping out of the way. Things have slowed down a bit.
Indeed. How have things been in the wastes?
I've only been down there about as much as you, really. About maybe an hour in total. I heard there was some sandstorm or something that's cleared up now, so that's good to know.
Indeed. Could I perhaps
I've never really
accompany
left the
you?
gates. Haven't really had a need to. Sure.
I feel like
What
it
does it
might
get
be
up to
worth
down
having
there?
a look. Perhaps we can hear more about the bugs.
Also, that's one place I know will be safe. At least I would hope it would be, all the way out there.
I wouldn't assume.
Fair enough. Anyways, I'm gonna run that test real quick, and then so meet you at the elevator, or meet you down there. I don't know if you want to go ahead and hop on down or not.
Just radio me when you're ready.
But I'll be back pretty soon. Very well. I'll go do those tests real quick.
Quiet day.
Radio test.
Radio test. Very good.
Nice to have working radios for once. What a pleasure.
Indeed. We must check if it's a blue moon tonight. Radio check. This is Sloan on Traverse Comms. Fortuna, are you on this line?
Hello, Mr. Sloan. This is Ashvin. Apparently, Fortuna is missing. We are currently investigating it at the moment in the garage. If you would like to join, I guess you're welcome to.
I'm on my way.
Yep.
When was she last seen?
The guards said that they did not get that information. Just that she was last seen at the garage. So we're in the garage right now.
Right, I'm on my way.
Let's do this. And people tell me investigation rolls are rare.
I'm sorry, sir. You cannot enter this place without permission.
Indeed. Where is Mr. Ashwin?
Sloan has permission to enter.
Mr. Ashford.
Rolls. With advantage.
Ooh.
Do you have any of your skills you'd like to apply in possibly this role?
I don't think any skills would apply. What was it like? It's
Move along, citizen. Private investigation.
other than like I guess like
I'm
it's
just
like a
hanging
fun for
out.
on the
I'm waiting
guards
on
to get them
Miss
to help,
Jackie
but I
there.
don't know if that would be a thing.
That's all.
Otherwise,
I mean,
no.
you could just, I don't know if you need a psychopath to get them to help, because I'm their
No,
boss.
it's more just
You do not have permission to stay here. Move
getting
along.
useful information out of them, getting them out of the way.
I have an
Alright.
appointment with Miss Jackie there,
So,
so yeah.
as you look
Under City
around-
Councilman Snicklefritz Whizbang, check your database.
You do see.
It'll be just a moment.
Registration, non-corporate
Yeah,
level.
no,
Move along.
Yeah, no problem. Tell your
This
robot I can
whole
stand here
entire
before I turn him
area
into scrap.
is
It's
ransacked.
fine for him to stand there,
All
just don't let
throughout
them
the
in.
shop is just layers of destruction.
Registration acquired.
It seems
You are
like
allowed to stay in the
this
premise.
was done in an unexpected
Oh, am I?
means. As you look over it, it is a sign of a struggle.
Good to know.
A great sign. Shelves knocked inward as if someone was pushed against them. A total wreck of an area. And as you come up to one of the
Everything okay, Sloan? Anything I should know about, or?
one of the pieces of technology, you see that she
I'll let you know if it's the case.
into it, and all that's left
All right, sounds
is
good.
her arm, which was forcibly removed. Her synthetic, mundane cybernetic was left hooked up as it seems from the struggle that
So
happened
you,
here that
you got one of them, like,
she
full
was
AI
ripped
setups,
while
or just a
connected
basic
to a
guy?
device.
Holy shit. Alright, okay, I need to tell someone about this.
No insert. Part of my protocol.
Okay.
Find anything? Basic, got it.
So, yeah, I found something.
Pinocchio
I found Fortuna's fucking arm. It was ripped out
No insert registered.
while she was decked into something. The place is trashed. There's signs of there being a struggle. And
Are there
and
cameras
there's her
in
arm.
here now think about it?
I didn't. That's what was gonna be my question. Is do you have any recording of anything? Because
This statement is
something fucking happened here.
Would you tell what she was decking?
It was
I'm on my
tucked
way
into
to the
some
elevator now.
device. I didn't get a good look at it, but I can take another look. It's over there. It would be. I'm gonna guess that the thing with that though.
Is there anything you know about this? Is there a reason that this would happen?
For Fortuna? No, but I didn't know her that well, to be honest. Trying to think. No, I mean, I know she was involved in the hunt for, the guy who we're not supposed to talk about, blah blah blah. But I don't. If he'd taken him, it would have been just pop gone.
I agree.
it wouldn't have been a fight like this.
I don't know. The whole fucking traverse operation.
Oh, Jackie, correct.
Traverse operation, move along.
Yeah, you're just Sloan. We're yeah.
Indeed.
We were in the thing with the big robots and yeah.
Fortuna told me you were one of her online friends.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
that's right. I guess that's true.
Jackie, you get your data pad starts ringing.
I thought about it. There's no
one
cameras
second,
in
I'll
here.
take this.
Why don't we have cameras in here? We should
I'll pick it
really
up.
install some cameras in here.
It's Cassie. Hello, Jackie. Funny thing just happened.
Hey,
We just got hired
How
to
funny.
protect
why
you.
don't you, like, put in an order over to get
Apparently, there's some
cameras in
Trident
here,
reporter
but
looking for you, and they needed a guard, and so
feel like that's
they hired us.
Considering especially
Go ahead and
that's
go
a
without me.
security risk.
Something's come up.
Lame. And so yeah, they're giving us money, and I'm sending Richard your way, or rather, I'm sending you to Richard because Richard's in the office, and he wants you over there, and he's going to be your escort.
Have you looked into
Escort, but you know.
what they were up to while this happened?
Okay.
Is there any reason that this should happen? Is there anyone that's been
I guess I have to do this
eyeing her up?
now.
Kidnapped?
I guess.
If only there was some kind of detective around to find.
The only thing I think of isn't a good one, and one I shouldn't say.
Yeah. Well,
Indeed.
I'm trying my best, but I'm not a detective.
And I have your permission to look into
Trident person
the deck.
survive in office seems like a good place as any to meet everyone else.
She was decking into something?
You
Oh,
wore
do you
out
mean
this
her
house,
action?
he'll kidnap
Wait,
you,
no.
Her terminal.
Right.
Move on, I guess. Business.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll try. I guess I'll leave it in someone else's hands.
Does she have a
Sure.
computer in here somewhere?
Okay.
I'm sure they will still be missing.
Yeah,
You
that'd
come
be
back, don't
over
fret
here.
too much.
That's not good. Alright.
Okay, just don't pay attention to anything in there.
I see. Right.
As you look in there, there's like a sheet covering something in there.
Very well.
That would be that computer there.
Right.
I think that would be her computer at least. That one probably hers and that one mine.
Ooga booga.
Yellow. I'm going to be looking into Fortuna's computer to see what I can find, trying to deck through, see if there was anything that she was up to that would lead to these events.
Alright, let me get... Let me see.
Alrighty.
With your permission, we'd like to investigate this area as well.
Yeah, just don't pay attention to what's in like the storage area there. Just ignore that, otherwise I need you to sign something.
I'm pretty sure that's covered our general contract to maintain confidentiality, but well, I'll do my best to ignore that. Although I do worry if it's something that might be pertinent to the investigation, then I should investigate it. But
It's not.
I'll assume
It's
that you've checked it.
Yeah. Mr. Sloan currently is searching her terminal to see if there's anything there. That would be my area.
Indeed.
Yes, you can look there if you want.
Do you have any additional clearance codes or anything that could help?
Just checking to see if anything's been disturbed.
Me?
Indeed. Do you know if there's any locks
I
in place?
don't know if I would. I don't know if I would or not. I don't think so.
Very well. In that case, God.
1 second, sorry.
Yeah. Just like, if it's pertinent, I do have advantage in, like, saboteur stuff, so I would try to break in past any firewalls or anything.
Well,
What's your decking modifier?
that I can find.
1.
Thank you for your help.
1.
Yeah.
You see that what she's mostly been working on was a project for a Beowulf replacement. And that's pretty much all you can gather from it at this point.
Is there anything else on the PC that I can pull up? Is there, like, any areas that look like they're more higher security that I can try and probe into or anything? I'm going to take, like, an extensive look if I can.
Oh, that was all the information I was given, but I can inquire again.
Thank you. Then, lastly, would also be if the security cameras in here would reveal anything.
Unfortunately, there are no security cameras in the garage.
Alrighty. Those are just fancy projectors. Ash. Have there been any other locations that she's been operating out of?
I mean, her home.
Has there been any
That's-
checks made there?
That's just. I don't believe so. I'll go check. I'll go ask.
Unfortunately, you do find some secure, like, channels, and you do try to deck in, but before you could get any useful information out of it, the firewalls detect your presence and lock you out from this terminal.
Alrighty.
Seeing as this is highly secure traverse information.
Okie dokie. Thank you.
Yes?
The last thing is on my way out. Once I'm in here by myself, I'm just going to take a quick peek underneath the tarp.
Underneath the tarp?
Ash was saying that there's something covered with a blanket here.
I will inquire.
Hmm. I've been forgotten. I guess I'll just make my way out.
Hello.
Hello. Was there an answer for that?
I don't know. I'll have to talk to Ash. I thought Sloan got to you. I'm sorry.
No. Also, am I locked in here?
I really hope not. I'm gonna talk to Ash anyways.
And then
I'll be right
Leslie
back.
would be looking over anything here if I could glean anything.
In here, it just looks like it's been ransacked. Like there was a struggle.
Alrighty.
And yeah. Alright, I'll be back.
Thank you. Gotta take a sip of some water.
Where did the Traverse Guard go?
It's a good question.
Because they were supposed to let you out.
Alrighty.
So,
Should I just pretend they're there?
Disappeared. I'll just let you out. Yeah. Just
Okay.
Go on out. And Dexy says that they'll clarify what was under the tarp after the session, if that's alright.
Sounds good. Ash, where'd you go?
Mr. Sloan, we're in Fortuna's apartment right now, double checking everything here is good, and it looks like it is.
No signs of
I'm not
anything.
seeing anything amiss. Nope, just looks normal.
Have you checked the computer?
Yeah. All that was there was like you know those what are they, like notepads or whatever? It's like one of those, and it's kind of embarrassing to say, so I'm not gonna say it. But it was just a thing. That's it. Anything of interest?
Is it pertinent to the investigation?
No, not at all.
All right. Are there any signs leading to any locations from the shop?
Not that no, I couldn't find anything. Like you said, her apartment looks as it usually does.
So you're saying it's just a dead end?
Unless we can get access, if we can talk to Trident, if there's any Trident around, maybe we can get access to the row cameras, or whoever has the external cameras in the row. I'm not sure who works those. I assumed it's Trident. But...
I believe so.
Okay, well, I guess we'll have to try to talk to Trident somehow. I don't know if they have any representatives here, but
Indeed.
I'm coming back to the garage.
I've already left. I'll be looking into things on my own, but please keep me up to date. Comms check. This is Sloan on 25. Is anyone on this channel? Wheeler.
Yes.
Have you seen Fortuna lately?
I haven't. Sorry.
When was the last time you saw her?
Yesterday, maybe?
Right. She's gone missing. If you see anything relating, please let me know. This can't be real. What were you up to? I know that you get involved in shady circles, but this is a bit much even for you.
Hey. Was there gunfire going on? Was it arena?
Arena.
Okay, it just sounded like a lot of fucking gunfire. It's not like staggered fire. It's just like pour the entire clip into them, kind of.
Indeed, they're a bit untrained.
By the way, has this been debunked? By the way, with well, we can go into that here real quick. I don't think I'm a genius or anything, but I did have like one thing to put forward.
Go ahead.
When it comes to that situation, do we know if the people that were kidnapped, if they all had some kind of ties with magical affinities? If they're kidnapping those people and turning them into magical monstrosities, well, probably need magic to use magic.
I don't believe that was the case.
Was it like debunked at all?
We've not specifically investigated it. That is a good point.
Okay, because that might be one connection if we haven't figured that out yet. I had that thought when I was thinking about all the stuff that happened. So, yeah.
Indeed. Perhaps I can make that check right now.
Mhm.
See if any were on the registry.
Mm-hmm.
Sticky in foot, man. You know, it's like old jink. Yeah,
9,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. Hello.
Amelia just brought up the point. I want to check if any of the people that were abducted by Mr. Nowhere have any magical affinities, or if they were registered as non-magical.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I'll double check just in case. Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I've been kind of risking it, I guess. Yeah. I have a plan for that. It's okay. I have a plan. I am thinking about it and taking it seriously. Can you open the door? Sloan?
Yes, are you expecting someone?
That's my security. I think we're gonna be leaving. You can give me the update afterwards. So I've got business to handle. I think they're outside.
Very well.
Hey, hey.
Shall we, Miss Skylar?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can fix this.
Sorry about that. Most of, if not all of them, do not come up in the magical registry from Saru.
Thank you. That was all I needed. Maybe Rona can help. It's time to take a trip to the wastes. Right. There we go. Well, that's an unpleasant development. Oh boy. I hope that that's just the initial models loading in. Things are chunky right now. There we go. It's leveling out a bit. And I'm gonna fix this stinking hip. Why does it keep doing this?
I'm getting a drink.
There we go.
Sorry.
Okay. There we go, that works.
Can you just tell me whenever they say something? Yeah.
I sure hope that that's not a bad sign.
I'm just having trouble trying to figure out how to use the radio.
And I still need my assault rifle.
God damn it. No.
Man, if I come down here for the one time of my own volition just to, like, have a look around and there's all these guys sputtering about, man. I've already got my hands full with the Undercity. What a day. I'm gonna sit down while I got the chance. Ooh. What a session. Yellow.
How's it going?
Can I get an assault rifle?
Ah, yes, Valkyrie.
Yes.
Okie dokie.
How have things been down here?
It's ramping up. Just a bit.
I gotta look in the prop room.
You did, huh?
I sure hope nothing bad happens on my first trip down here.
I'm heading back in.
Yep,
You have fun.
you too. Oh boy, here we go. Gonna go die in the wastes. This is Sloan, signing in on 25.
I'm gonna look at this hard. Don't stand like that!
You see, when
If you need something.
You can't just strike a pose and be like, I'm gonna look
Just having a look around.
Check it out on 25.
Indeed, those are Revlon comms.
Down here, it's the Wasteland comms.
I see. And then what is your emergency channel?
Emergency channel. We're currently getting that looked at, so unfortunately it's kind of down. Otherwise, with the clinics here, you would have to ask them about that.
Very well. Noted.
Absolutely don't make contact. Through centuries of scientific and spiritual insight, this behavior has been observed and can be exploited.
Anything catch your interest?
He's staring hard.
I'm staring hard at the board to see if maybe someone just slapped, like, hey, I need, like, something from the
Oh, I hope
wasteland
you're
on
not
the board.
trying to contact God to help you.
Interesting place to say the least. I hope this is not going to be like finding a needle in a haystack.
I don't know what it is either.
I guess not.
I've never been told his radio.
Wonderful. Hopefully I can find. Hopefully I can find him sooner than
Hi,
later.
Mr. Sloan.
Hello.
Is everybody down here today? I feel like I've seen everybody at least twice.
Perhaps there's something I need to speak to you about.
Oh, with me? Well, I was about to head back up to the road. Do you want to talk about it here, or?
Either or. Perhaps it would be better here.
Up to you. Okay.
Is there a place that we can talk?
Right now? I don't know any places. Most places here are public.
I see. Is there at least a quiet corner?
This is pretty much the quiet street.
Well,
Apparently this is an arena.
certainly looks it.
It's pretty
impressive.
big. And look, they dropped the giant metal piece from the crane.
I see. Well, I come bearing bad news. Fortuna has gone missing.
What?
I
That
heard a...
can't be right. I literally saw her the other day.
So did I. We looked in her shop, and there were signs of a struggle. The place had been ransacked.
Shouldn't we go back and run an investigation then?
That's what Traverse was doing, but they couldn't seem to find anything. I looked in her apartment as well, and things seemed fine. I was given the go-ahead to look into the terminal in the shop, but the firewalls were too strong.
Do you want me to check them?
Perhaps. I know that Fortuna's firewalls are some of the strongest. Do you think that we could break in?
They are. Most of my stuff is defensive, but I can try.
As is mine. Perhaps we can fill in each other's weakness.
We can try. I wish I... I'm trying to think why this would happen, but...
I don't know. Ash seemed to have no idea.
I'm trying to think of why somebody would target Fortuna. I mean... There's the usual reasons, like being corporate and everything, but... There would at least be some sort of sign, right?
There should be, but there wasn't. And I believe if it was our friend in the Undercity, it would have been more subtle.
So some sort of third party, and they're able to get out of the row with her without anybody noticing?
It would seem. Sadly, the shop doesn't have any cameras.
Are you down here because you think that she might be down here?
I don't know. I needed to tell someone. And I know that Harper was down here as well.
Yeah. Miss Alice is at the clinic right now.
Why is that?
Oh, she wanted to get supplies to make more med kits.
I see.
Do you wanna go do that firewall right now, or do you want to do something and meet me there?
I think I'd like to do it now. I'm worried sick.
Okay, let's do that then. Shall we?
Indeed. Has there been anything out of the ordinary down here?
Not really. Not that I can think of. Some people went out on a scrap run. Oh, sorry. Mostly I recognize people down here. Just... I don't know. It's just been business as usual.
Right. Oh boy, things just start checking.
Yeehaw.
Oh boy. Is your frames just start dipping too?
No, I just know why she's missing.
Hmm.
I don't know in character though, so fuck, I guess. Well, actually, I know. However, it would cause me having to go, are you sure you trust Traverse to be checking this investigation?
Oh no.
He like, ooh, sussy. Alright, you ready to go?
Yep.
We yeehaw to the row?
Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Fun times. Hmm.
I stretch and I suffer. I brought
No
Sloan.
suffering.
Wow.
I suffer.
Epic.
Can I get an assault rifle? Oh,
1 second.
my hip.
Okay. There we go. That fits for the diner.
Yeah. For now, might bring someone in to
Thank you, thank you.
give more reason to it. In a bit, I just have to clear things with the gems.
Pew pew.
Sorry. I was sitting here thinking.
Did I
'cause
spook
I'm
you?
looking at something. Yeah, you spooked me. I wasn't expecting it. Hold on, I'm checking.
Well, they did say that you could grab an extra thing that's not usually necessary, so... Knife time.
The last thing somebody said was, "Oh shit, sandworm." Oh no.
Oh dear.
Bad time to leave when one of the medics is gone, right? Okay. Anyways, I'm ready when you are.
Yeah.
I will. Oh shit. We were just
Oh,
talking
hey, what's up?
about you. We are looking for Fortuna. I am looking on your
Suck.
computer now. Let's go. Wait,
Alright.
for the wasteland electric.
How do we do that?
We should go to Lower Plaza and just zoom there and then be like,
Zoom.
we were never here.
Yep.
Ready?
Yep. Invisible.
We were not seen. Let me change my radios real quick.
Invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, that was a quick trip. It felt faster than usual, even though there's like holes in the ground, and I really don't like being up as high. Look at that drop.
It is a bit much, and the rattling didn't help.
Oh yeah, and the shaking? I felt like we were swinging in a sandstorm.
I mean, I suppose we kind of were.
You're right.
But, in either case, the shop is right over here. There were a whole bunch of traverse here before. Let me radio Ash and see if I can get a hold of him. Ash, are you on these comms? Test again. Ash, are you on this comm? This is Sloan. We didn't pass him going to the waste, did we?
I didn't see him. He might be on the different comms, maybe. We can walk around and see if we can find him.
True.
It's probably better than breaking in, I guess.
That it would be. I believe they were last at her apartment. Do you know which one it is?
Mm-mm. Never been.
Right.
Seems like everybody's indoors today.
It has been very quiet. The diner's open.
Hmm.
Yeah, let me see if I can send a ping to him.
Okay, I'll keep looking.
Jackie was also investigating. Jackie,
Hey,
were
Sloan.
you,
Hi.
were you able to find anything more?
What happened with? No, I had to go. There was some other prior obligation I had to take care of. Did you hear anything new?
I have not. Were you able to find
Was,
anything at the scene?
Gone? Not that I had.
Yellow?
Not since I told you.
I just wanted to send a ping and see if
sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
I could get a hold of Ash.
Let me see. Alright. You want to send a message or you just ping?
Yes. Let him know that I need to speak with him.
Alright.
So you weren't able to find anything more?
Well, like I said, I had to run off. I went. Whoa, jeez, you stuck on me.
Yeah, Mr. Sloan brought me here to help check, to look for... Yeah.
Fortuna, did he tell you what he found there?
I
As
mean,
much as I did know.
I think.
I didn't get a good chance to see the scene itself.
Well, I don't know what he told you, but what I saw was, yeah, there was a struggle. Place was trashed, and her arm was jacked into something, and it was ripped out.
Wait.
So, it was.
So there's evidence of her being jacked into something and then it was ripped out forcefully? Or was it her arm left there?
Her arm was left there, and her arm was jacked into something.
What was it jacked into?
And then I don't know. I didn't get a good chance to get a good look at it. I got called away. I want to get another look at the scene if I can.
Well, hopefully we can get a hold of Ash and then we can all take a look and see if they haven't cleared it up already.
Yes.
Yeah, shit.
This doesn't sound good at all.
No. The only thing I could think is it doesn't sound like the guy downstairs.
Sloan said the same
Because
thing.
I don't think he would have put up.
It also would have been
No.
just instantaneous, right? So there wouldn't have been time for a struggle, so it sounds like some sort of different party.
Do you know anything about what Fortuna was mixed up in? Anything that could be related to this?
That's what I've been trying to think about. The only thing I can really think of is... Well, she was always a bit worried that Traverse might get angry at her for what we've been doing over a month ago. But I don't know why they would suddenly decide
Traverse
to
are
act
looking
everything
for
up.
her.
Well, it could also be a show, right? They could
It
have just
could.
taken
That's
all
a lot of
the evidence away.
theatrics. But
But I don't know. I can't think of anything else besides. It's not him, and if it's not Traverse, I don't know who else she would have been dealing with that would have done something like this.
well, Ashford was being quite defensive about that. There was a room in the shop they wouldn't let even their own guards in, but you were in there, right? Did you say anything when you were there?
Well, the only thing that was out of the ordinary was that there was something under a blanket that they said not to look at.
I might know
That's
what that
weird.
is. It's not related to this. Wait. If you had that thing there in the office, there's a good chance that we might have to talk to... Or no, we can't. If it was them, then they would hide it out immediately, but it might be Masaru. Or Masaru related.
Masaru? Was Fortuna scammed with the Magic Affinity recently? Because they were getting pretty rough with people. Although ripping people's arms off is a new level.
It was more of oh, she's gonna kill me for talking about this, but she was doing something that would help somebody that she cares about, but it would not be in Masaru's best interest, I should say.
We should speak somewhere more privately.
If they managed to accidentally overhear it or anything, then it would make sense why they would go. Where do you think is best to go?
I know the clinic is safe. Right. How close were you both with Fortuna?
Very close. I know you two were acquainted.
Somewhat, I guess.
don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I played video games with her and I talked to her a few times. I can't say it's more than that, really.
I see.
You know, we're friends, but, you know, not that kind of friends, I guess. But I know a thing or two about what you... correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're talking about has to do with Ash, and has to do with the fact that they are a clone.
Yeah. And he doesn't have much time, so they were trying to think of options to help him.
What were they going to try?
But the option that
growing a new Ash in their office?
Not a clone. First they asked me about the Ditus procedure, and decided ultimately against it. And then they remembered about, well, I guess the more appropriate term would be colomancy. Transferring a soul into another body with all their memories and thoughts and ideas that are intact.
I believe that's him.
Is that Ash?
Guess I'll just wait. Hopefully we can take another look.
Step inside.
Hi, Ash.
Hello. You didn't tell me where you were. I'm alright, yeah.
That's good.
Why is it so loud in here? Jeez. All the machinery noises.
Indeed. If it's all right with you, Luna and I would like to take a closer look at the terminal in the shop.
See if we can learn anything.
Sure. Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oops, sorry. What you looking at?
I thought I saw a shadow, like an actual shadow, and it's kind of freaking me out, but I think I was just seeing things, I don't know. Well,
Right.
I guess alleyways again.
Okay, alright, I guess.
I don't see anybody in an alleyway. And you just followed me down an alleyway, Jackie. You just followed me, and so I guess it isn't luring.
Indeed, to the shop, please.
I think it might have just been, like, smoke. Yeah. I don't know how
sorry.
I only know one direction, so. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Pardon.
Oh, I know how to get there. Oh, bless you.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. This is the only path that I know. By heart.
I do feel a lot faster now that I realize it.
Indeed.
Oh.
Come in. Door is unlocked. Hey. Just gonna lock it behind, just in case. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, computer. Yeah. I trust you
Should we
two
get
enough.
a DM to see
Don't.
if anything's been changed?
They've already investigated the area. Jackie investigated. I don't think anything else would have changed since then.
I was thinking if Traverse moved anything or anything like that that we would have noticed missing or anything, but don't worry.
Well, I was here with them all, and when
That's
I
true,
came back
that's
with the guard, they all had left. So
Yeah.
just
happy.
Ignore. There's going to be a thing underneath a sheet. Don't look into. Wait.
Okay.
Sorry. There might be a thing underneath the sheet. Might be. Don't ignore me. I'm dumb.
Okay. Which computer?
This one right there.
Right. Well, let's see if we can. Is this the same computer that her arm was still attached to?
I don't know. You did.
No, that was out in the main room. It never was a
I'd like to
computer,
check
it's a
that
device.
too. I would like to
Yeah,
check
we can
that
check
as
that
well
out,
at some
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll just take the seat. I have a bag of candy that I'm gonna munch on.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Second time.
We're
Oh,
decking.
wow. Wait.
We're trying to figure
Hello.
out
Hello.
what's on Fortuna's computer.
Ooh. On Fortuna's computer?
In the we're in the Traverse garage right now. Because she's missing. We're checking to see if there's anything that might point to signs of she was in trouble with something or something like that.
Alright, let's do ducking with advantage.
Yeehaw.
You don't
You get
find
double advantage
anything
because
out
there's
of
three
the...
of us.
That's not how advantage works. But you do not find anything out of the ordinary, but what you do find is more information regarding the synthetic project she was working on. It is similar to Beowulf's, designed by Shmetsu. And it seems like they were designed to be able to be worked off of the power crystals found in the wastelands. Same ones designed and created, or not designed and created, but ones that are utilized for Beowulfs. This was very important information that was stored here. And you get a feeling that there was a reason it was left open, as if it was in a rush, unable to be closed, back at the garage.
I'm going to try to. Well, I'm probably don't need to. Sorry, brain cells. I'm gonna download it into my.
Oh yeah, I'm screenshotting all this information.
I trusted you. I'm going back to my
You don't know I'm doing
You know.
this. She's just doing this very subtly.
I know.
She's downloading it while she's looking through
Just
the
for
files.
later. Just it's for my dead man switch.
And then she's going
Easy.
to close it and just put it on
Hello,
there.
everybody. Just a quick announcement: the grindstone is opening.
You're able
Sorry,
to
loud
sneakily
So
enough
get your
in my
drinks
ears.
and have yourself a good time.
Oh, the grindstone announcement was so loud.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Apologies.
Friendly just announced the grindstone, so I couldn't hear anything. Just the grindstone is open.
You are both able to successfully get copies and screenshots of this without any trace being left behind of you doing so.
And then I'm going to close it out and.
When last I checked in, those things were able to be gleaned, but I was told that there was a section of the computer that was locked behind a firewall.
Yes, that is specifically details and information regarding Traverse, specifically just work within Traverse.
Hmm.
So it's deeper corporate data.
Are you sure you want me to continue doing this?
I don't think that's a good idea. We should look at the other terminal.
Hmm. Alright, let's go look at the device that she was plugged into. Maybe there's something to be found there.
Actually, to
Didn't
save you
find
guys a
anything?
trip, if you want me to do a quick roll for you.
Oh yeah, yeah, please.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that to be a lackluster trip. That's the one I was
let's
looking for
look at
from
an
the
imaginary
advantage
arm.
decking.
Yeah, boy.
As you look at the device and the equipment she was hooked up to, you get a feeling that this was also tied into the project.
Ooh.
That she was mid-working on parts of the synthetics, internal mechanics, and some of the programming of individual parts.
Interesting.
So, question: when you said it was like this thing was like Beowulf's but with magic crystals, does it seem like it's based
No.
on Beowulf's or just like similar?
No, they use the same power cores.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're
They
power
are
crystals,
similar
so
to
not
Beowulf's,
magic.
but they are traverse made.
Right.
And they're being specified
Exactly.
to Fortuna's designs. So.
Gotcha.
But they work the same way because obviously it's probably using like Shometsu style rigging for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of the
same
same
principles.
similar blueprints or inspiration of like builds, especially in the ways that it's able to utilize power crystals to power them up without, causing a meltdown.
It could have been Shometsu. Considering a lot of this looks like,
It's
the
definitely a
Beowulf project.
possibility. I mean,
I trust
put it past them.
none of you will speak of this.
Absolutely.
You said Beowulf project. I assume something you saw. Don't speak of it.
Yes, but
Okay.
all we care about is finding Fortuna right now. So.
I know, but
Jackie.
I don't want to be on another hit list.
That's
So
fair.
Don't say anything about it.
Jackie.
Okay.
Important thing, yes?
I didn't hear an affirmation.
Look, I mean, what do you want me to say? That I'm not going to tell anyone? If it's relevant to the investigation, I will.
Indeed. But is this going to be showing up in some sort of tabloid?
Do you think so little of me?
You're not admitting any sort of affirmation. This is for the sake of Fortuna.
Like I said,
I mean, I could
I
have
agree.
you all sign in NDAs. I guess. I don't know how that really works. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
NDAs
Well, I
can
think that
be
just means you can take
a
us to
little
court.
weird.
Either way,
Yeah.
if word gets out about this, this is going to hurt
Okay.
Fortuna directly.
I'm not going to do anything that will hurt Fortuna. But I'm also not going to tell you that I am never going to tell people about something that I know. There are circumstances in which I will tell people. I prefer to be honest about that.
hopefully in this case, this gets
I'm not going to actively cause
finished
problems.
up quickly. So it won't really need to be
Right. And what
secretive
about
thing.
Fortuna's friends?
What about Fortuna's friends? I don't know who Fortuna's friends with.
I'm saying, are you going to say anything that hurts them as well?
That's kind of vague. I don't know what you want me to say. I will do my best to make sure that no one gets hurt. Is that alright?
Shall we?
Anything else?
No. No, we've checked all the devices, and there's no cameras in the garage, unfortunately, so we can't even see who
Yeah,
took them.
there
so-
were. I don't know. Let me unlock door. So we can see if there's any cameras out here. But I don't see any.
I don't think there are.
That would be something to speak to Trident about.
Yeah. I was hoping to see if there was a Trident representative around, but I don't know how to even contact them.
Oh, right. When's that reporter
Yeah.
supposed to be around? Do you remember?
Oh, sorry, you sort of missed them. They said they would
again?
they interviewed Snickerfritz and then they said that they would come back next time to talk to you if that's okay.
Okay, I'd like to be
Hey,
pinged
passed on
every
their
time.
apologies.
Because I didn't get any notification that they were there, so...
Sorry, I told him to ping you. I think you were on the other map at the time. I was trying to get the GM to do it, but
Cross maps.
I know. I think Sloan was in the scene at the time and Bandit wanted to go play the character. Sorry, communication's hard.
Okay.
Well, if there is something, there is something I would like to talk to you about as well. Anyway, separate to that,
Okay.
probably privately. If don't know, was anything else here first?
I mean,
Alright.
I
Do you guys
don't
have
know
anything
what
else
I
for
can
me?
do.
Yeah.
I believe that's all.
Yes, but I should do with this first.
Please keep me up to date.
Okay. I will. I guess I'll just step over here for now.
Okay.
See ya.
Let's somewhere.
We can go somewhere if you want to talk.
Let's somewhere. Yeah. Where's somewhere private we can go? Jeez. Let's just let.
They call me the corporate. Useless. Now what am I supposed to do? Just sit around and wait.
Oh, what you doing over here, buddy?
Can I help you?
I'm just taking a walk. I usually see some just standing around though.
My business is my own.
Yeah, that's a fair answer. I won't bother you then.
What's the point of defending the city if I can't even keep my friends safe? There has to be some answer to this. There has to be something I'm not doing. Shumetsu. Shumetsu. You need to think carefully about this. I don't even know where she is. I need to think. There's no leads. She's a smart girl. She's gotten herself in trouble before. Confound it all. I need a drink.
Hello, Sloan.
Looking like this is going to get me nowhere. Need to think. need to calm down.
Go do that. Have fun with that.
Get me something
Good
heavy
evening, sir.
to
Can
go.
I get something for you? To go. Okay, hold on. The best I can do with that. There you go.
Do you accept
The
wires
home mix.
transfer?
Yes. Just here.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. Received. Can be on your way. Have a good night.
You as well.
There you go. He hands you a credit.
Hello.
Or
Heard the grindstone is open.
Yeah.
Drink never works. Need somewhere to think. There has to be something. Huh? Why couldn't you have told me? Why couldn't you have said something? I could have helped. Why didn't you tell me anything that was going on? You knew that this was stupid. I'm going to find you. One way or another, I'm going to find you, and I'm going to fix this. I'm not going to get anywhere thinking like this. Just need to think. It has to be Shunetsu. That will traverse. One of them has done this.
See, you look like you're having a hard day.
Hello.
Hello.
Am I still in contact with any fixers?
Actually, you would. You see in the database of fixers in your location, or near your location that are publicly accessible, who have put their information out. You recognize the name. Maybe not the first name, but certainly the last. Mikhail Morozov.
Can I set up a meeting?
Yes, you can.
Do I pick the location or does he?
When you reach out, he says, "Let's meet where usual fixers meet." Been to the grindstone?
I'll be writing there.
All right.
What? Time to make things right.
Yeah, but like, don't you like have to like get whatever?
I mean, Tips is on site, right? It literally include itself in the amount. And the only one working here right now, so no need to split it. Other?
That's fine over there. I noticed your place isn't open all that much.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot of action going on around here, so hard to get a clientele sometimes. What's for usually later in the day.
I might have had some good training with coffee because must be all the Irish coffee I've had. I don't really get drunk very much.
I've learned to limit myself. I think if you want to get drunk, you can some coffee until you get stronger.
Mark and I could probably use a minute, maybe.
Alright. Here. There. Bottle. 2 bottles.
Well, play some good music in here, though.
Well, you're professional at this. How long have you been working here?
You know, on and off for a while now. Gotta pay the bill somehow, right? Are you done with this one?
Let me check. No, I am.
Rinse it and put it in the rack. I'm gonna leave. My glass of water on the side.
Oh god, that's strong.
I think you can hold your alcohol. Can you drink your alcohol?
Gas for it.
I can hold it. I've never ever thrown up.
Good. I just wasn't great for it.
A little glass of water on the side.
I don't make it that long. Yeah, hit me up with another one of those. That was really good. I can do a lot like last one.
They get around you now. Make sure that's a yes, for strawberry, I get some strawberry.
Sometimes it tastes more like though.
Oh god. Starting to feel the wind a bit.
I'll get them.
I take it you're Mikhail.
I mean, I did have one drink before this one as well.
Yep.
Still say I'm handling it a bit better than that one over there.
How thorough are you?
So, what is your name? I haven't seen your name.
Not one to line, I'll tell you that.
My name is Mr. Cross.
Tell you this is the first time I've been getting into fixer work. I'll tell you that. I'm not gonna pick up work and give it out. It's gonna be in poor interest people. And I'll tell you now.
Depends on if the employees you have.
And I'm gonna put the people that I hired first.
I can't find a better word than competent.
Not gonna be an easy fixer to work with, but I am gonna be efficient. I'm gonna make things happen. So if these are all things that you can work under, I can work with you. If it's not something you can work in the bounds of, then we can't. You can't get whatever you need done.
I have 2 simple jobs. I need 2 information runs.
Okay.
What's your standard rate?
I'm gonna go see if I can maybe
standard rate. Yep. Is this the first time you've done a run?
Yes, every good time is fun. I will. I won't be driving. I have someone else drive.
I'm not in the mood.
Every time.
No, neither am I. That's why I'm asking. Is this the first time you've ever hired a run?
No. Every fixer has a different style.
I'll let you know. There's not really a standard. You tell me what's needed. I'll calculate what is expected. Life and death ratio. Possibility of what's needed for people to put in money to get the supplies. And how much the job is actually worth. You tell me what you need done in the vaguest way you need, if you don't trust me.
Fine.
And I tell you how much it's gonna cost.
I need something quick. I need something professional. And I need no tiebacks.
Okay.
Whether or not it can be handled as 2 runs or as 1, I'll leave up to you.
Who's this against?
I need information from Traverse and Shometsu.
Okay.
Do you believe that you could pull it from the corporate docks?
From the corporate docks. See, I was expecting a mid-city run.
Someone's gone missing. I'm trying to find them. One of these 2 has the answer. And I'm tired of waiting.
You know, it sounds like you're chasing ghosts. Do you have any other information that shows that either of these corporations actually have the person you're looking for, or at least information regarding this person?
That's why I need the run. I want to look into their database. I want to see if they've been making any moves.
No offense, Mr. But, I want to let you know that databanks can be scrubbed. When things come up as empty, as they will, and I promise you they will, when people go missing, they always do. You're gonna have to still pay. No matter what it is. It's not gonna make you happy, and I know you're not gonna want to come back to me for when that happens. But I'll tell you from my own personal experience. As someone who's had many people in my life go missing. And spent a lot of money trying to figure out where they are. And what happened. You're gonna waste your money. How about I do something for you instead? I have a lot of connections to street samurais. It's a more ethical line of work. I'll put my ear to the ground, and if I hear anything, I'll let you know. And that's free of charge. I'll try and get some strings pulled and fill out the webs. See if I can get information to you, but right now... I mean, you know how it is. Corporations have enough money to make someone disappear and make it seem like they never even existed. There's no way you're gonna get what you're looking for by doing a run into a low-level office. I know this. So instead I'll do you a favor, if you want. If you trust me with that, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're wasting your money otherwise.
You're awfully kind for a fixer.
I mean, I'm just looking at it clearly and honestly. You're not gonna want to come back if I'm not gonna be. And I don't like the idea of people going missing because of corporate power. I don't like people going missing, period, but regardless. If I can help, especially in this case, I will. Like I said, too many people have gone missing
Fine.
in my circle.
I'll take your advice. And I appreciate your offer.
Once we get more information, and I get that to you, if there's a run in the books, then I can make that happen.
Like 3 times out of this morning.
Right now, you're best on getting more information.
Yeah, I've been carried out of this.
At least some kind of lead beyond the corporation's name possibly being tied to it. Because I'll tell you right now, I know a corporation that's fucked me over, and that's still not enough of a lead to figure out what the hell happened. So.
Thank
I'll let you know what I find out. Certainly. Like I said, we'll be in touch.
Take care.
I mean, no, I think being a patron, adding a bit of life in the place, working around something with people, plenty.
At least you can't say I didn't try, Fortuna.
Place to come around here and hanging out in their own corner, getting dinner place to centralize sometimes, get some RP between them.
I will find you. I don't care what it takes. You deserve better than this.
Came by for a drink.
Even if I have to burn this city.
I know they do that at the time, and I'm sure they do it here. I think the grandson's more open.
I'm kind of packets from that thing.
Hi, Mr. Sloan. Goodbye, Mr. Sloan. You look like you're busy.
Alright.
Have you seen Jack?
No, I have not.
No. Okay. Goodbye.
Hello, how can I help you?
Yellow. Can I
Hello,
get in contact with a Trident representative?
Probably not today, but let's actually roll to see if they can at least get you some information. Ooh, okay.
This is about the
And
personality
you do
core for
not have any
Genevieve.
additional points? Hmm. Okay. You end up getting an email. And it has, it is a, representative of Trident, but you get an idea that they would be able to get you into higher up connections. So feel free at the end of session to shoot me a message in character, and we'll figure it out then, just because I have a small laundry list of things to quickly do.
Sounds good. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, in that case, I think I'm going to take a quick 5 minutes. And I'll be right back in but a moment. So, see you in just a second. Be right back. Alrighty. And we're back.
Is the issue? So were you worried that I didn't care? Is that what
I don't know.
got you all turned around?
No, I don't know. It's not a feeling that I'm used to. I think it's something that humans call guilt.
They said apparently that they are out there grabbing silver. Or something that they came in from. Not the scrappers, obviously, but what looked, probably a grunt of the enemy or something. Apparently, that's what we thought. We weren't able to get close.
This is Sloan checking in. Harper, are you on this line?
Being super small is like a cheat. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to, like, am I supposed to, like, what, get on my, like, knees and then, like, headbutt them? Like, well, I guess that's why I have my lightning magic, so I'll just shoot them. I'll shoot them with my gun now. I'll summon heals one.
Did you?
Hey, hey.
Hey, Sloan.
Hello.
Oh shit, what up?
Another
Everything
very
alright?
slow day and stuff.
Indeed. Has everything been well with you?
Uh-huh.
Chill day.
I know, it's a lot of like resting and stuff. Handled business was great.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Sloan, if you have a moment, I would like to talk to you. Something happened in the wasteland.
Right.
That doesn't sound good.
Uh-oh.
We have mutual friends down there.
Oh dear.
And you probably know exactly which ones I'm speaking of.
That I do.
And so, I wasn't part of the action. I was informed on it. The ones that were down there was Liette. They were out on a scrapping run. But from what I understand, they were dragging back a fighter, but it was all in shambles by the time they got back, so there was nothing to recover there. But they did encounter, there's probably a small squad of them out there, which is kind of alarming. Because if they're out there, they're digging for something.
They're digging.
Well, they might be digging for something. They're out there for something. But I don't know exactly what.
What area were they spotted in?
All I know is that you would have to ask Liette and them. They weren't really keen on giving out that information.
Are they currently up here?
They probably be up here soon. They're probably sorting out a few things and then they'll be up.
I see.
I know Dexter was out. They were out somewhere doing stuff, scavenging and whatnot, seeing what they can do. And they heard the gunshots on the radio and all that, and they rushed over.
I see.
But they probably know as much as of what I've just told you. But they were using fighters to bring people in and out.
You were clean of the glow before, correct?
Yes, I was.
This space is clean as well.
Alright.
What are your feelings towards these shadow wyverns?
I despise them.
Indeed. And
I'm
how do you
still
feel
waiting
about
on
Basara?
a reply. Well, it seems how Mr. You know, may have a past with them. I don't know how they could let out such a monster.
You
So,
believe that
I'ma
Masara
be
may be
honest.
responsible?
I feel like they may be responsible for him.
I
Because
see.
he did talk to Anessa at one point. And he was telling us to back off. That he was a higher level than us.
I
So,
see. How does Zanessa feel about
I mean,
him?
he could be ex-Masaru. I haven't talked to her in a long time. But I know that she probably wants him dead.
Do you feel sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. Because I know I want him dead for taking all the spirits and turning them into weird amalgamations and causing harm to them all. Destroying the place where all the magic knowledge was.
I see. And
Also, I might as well show you. I'm gonna point it in this direction. But I got a new toy to play with.
right.
You will see as I pull it off my hilt, you'll see a nice shiny, like, silvery handle in my hand.
Well,
I've seen how well or how effective melee was on the big guys, and how energy and everything was also effective on them. So the other night, before I went to bed, I sent Dexter a message asking if they can get a commission out.
I see.
It's really nice.
And do you live in the Undercity?
I do.
And you care for the Grove, correct?
I care for it.
Did you do that before becoming part of Masara?
I believe it was probably a few days afterwards.
I see.
But then again, I can't remember exactly.
What was it that made you join Masara?
I was asked. They saw that I had a magical potential and that they can teach me how to harness it, how to bring it up, how to strengthen the connection. But in doing so, I unlocked something that is not necessarily good for me. It's rather harmful. Man, I don't think there is any medicine to take for it.
I see.
I have something called the flux. It is when two primary elements clash against each other. And those
Right.
two primary elements being shadow and soul. So it pains me to even cast magic when I harnessed said either or.
I see. The reason I ask you this is that you are one of the few Masaru individuals that do not have any glow. And you seem to have a grasp of events. Do you know who was in charge of the blood drive that Masaru was doing? The collection.
The collection? It was someone higher up than me, so... And if it wasn't Dexter, it only leaves two people. Because Vanessa's been out. So it was either Augustine or Cross.
And you don't believe
One
that
of the
there
two.
is anyone that could else be in charge of this?
I mean, there could be. But people that I've heard from and actively communicate to are them. That's it.
I see.
Also, speaking of which, I did put in a request to get a small research team, so I can start researching on things that were discussed at the event.
Perfect.
Or our meeting.
The,
Still waiting on getting a reply from them.
the other reason I ask is that I strongly suspect that someone involved in that blood collection may be a mole.
Hmm.
Can I ask a favor of you?
Go ahead.
I would like you to keep a close eye on those two suspects. I'd like you to watch what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Because with this information, it would seem that one of them may be smuggling things to our friend.
Hmm. I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep an eye on them.
Indeed. And if you can keep this between us, at least for now, until we know who it may be.
Oh, yes. And don't worry. I keep a lot of things secret.
Very well. The faster that we can find this out, the
Figure out.
better it will be.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe for the time being that the two of them should not be as involved in the process.
All right.
Of course, that is difficult with Mr. Augustine, but you get my
He
point.
is a difficult one. You know, he's still waiting on his pair of fast, or what would you call it, mobility boots. I'm supposed to make them.
I see.
It's supposed to stop him from having to walk on a cane.
Right. How did he gain that injury?
I think it was from years back when he was in the war. I remember him saying some stuff about that.
I see.
But other than that, I don't know. Then again, he is also pretty old.
That is fair.
I mean, I'm old, but in elven years, I just hit the right age.
Indeed.
Also, one last thing that you may want to write down on my medical record. If I appear to be unresponsive, make sure I have a heartbeat.
I see.
At times, my heart does tend to stop. If I take a brunt, like a big hit towards the chest, I
Very
tend
well.
to just to drop.
I can certainly have that put into file. There you go.
Thank you.
And thank you. Be careful with this.
Mm-hmm. I will. All right. Let's go to the shop.
Well, we got our Masaru informant. This is Sloan checking in. Harper, are you on this channel? What are you up to?
Bird. Yeah. Fire, fire.
I need free speech.
Pilly, no work. Fuck system.
This will teach you
I
to
rip off a
advertise
page.
your business.
I burn it. Paper burn. Yeah.
Are you all blatantly committing acts of arson?
Oh shit, it's the fuzz.
Fuck system. Yeah.
I do wonder sometimes if I'm dreaming.
Well, I mean, and
Yeah, like in-
weren't feeling too good. And
in
plus,
private.
you took the death of that one character pretty hard.
You wanna go somewhere?
3 on credits.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they can come if they want, because I think that they're involved, but I don't know.
I haven't seen it
Oh,
yet.
okay.
Don't spoil it.
Oh no! Have you not seen it yet?
I've been busy. Listen, I've been so busy. You haven't. Yeah. I mean, he already told me someone died, so that's like now I'm gonna be watching it, like waiting for who's gonna die.
I know.
But
I apologize for that. I thought you'd seen it already.
it's alright. It's alright. I'll watch it tonight. I'll watch.
Hi, Mr. Sloan.
Just.
Hello.
Jeez, I need to watch that as soon as I get home. Otherwise, it's all just gonna be. I'm just gonna be thinking about it. All right. So Denise said he had something to tell me, and he said you guys are involved. So you want to go talk about it?
I said you're invited if you want. You don't have to.
But he was talking about something.
Yeah, I want him to talk about something with Jackie.
Do you hear?
Ah, yes.
No, fuzz.
This way.
Down.
Up. Down, you say. Down.
Rip out a paper. I burn it. Yeah. Burn trash. Yeah.
Oh, he's back. Yeah, fuck all this scum.
Put the lighter down.
Oh.
Okay then. Yeah, maybe that's all right. What is happening?
Go report to the local union office. Tell them what you did.
What am I looking at?
An arsonist.
Hablo becoming.
You should check for burn marks around that seat after he's gone.
I don't know what this is.
Burn marks. Okay.
He was trying to set it on fire. Right, you. Out into the street.
Alright, snails are setting things on fire.
Indeed they are.
I just heard something else saying that it's setting something on fire, yeah.
Get moving towards
Yeah,
the
they're
bank.
down the hill
Move it.
setting shit on fire. If I shoot them, is anybody gonna complain?
Well, if they continue committing crimes, it's punishable.
Oh, they're setting fires all over the place down there.
I'm closing.
You should stop them.
For now, then.
Alright, cool. I like that.
Keep moving. Go on.
There's a slight update.
Oh.
My goddamn.
Come on, pick up the pace.
Down the industry we captured the captain that was abducted.
But what?
Medical Mayor Duma wanted to interrogate them.
Shit.
You do realize your running is not faster.
No, I get my for it.
Right, well.
God.
I was just gonna break a bottle over their head, but if you wanted to kill them, sure.
He attempted to run.
They knew the risk.
That they did.
Yeah, there was another one, but I think that's what the gunfire is now. That's the other one.
They could fucking die. They knew what they started.
The sweepers will take care of the corpse.
Sloan.
Indeed. Let's have that conversation.
It doesn't matter. That's a space he's...
Come again.
Quite soon. There's a shadow rival raid that happened during the wastes.
A raid on Scraptown, you
There's
mean?
a captain. No.
I heard that they were out seen during a run.
A traverse vessel had crashed. A captain had been captured. Now, mind you, Akduma, the mayor of the town, wished to get you some information from him. I volunteered to oversee the interrogation. However, I was privy to a few unknown factors before knowing this. Suffice to say, you won't have to look far for him to strike. He has targeted me and Akduma for this. He will be striking towards me in the days to come.
I see.
I was not informed of any of your preparations as per agreed, so I had not ascertained the levels of the safety levels you had made at that point.
Indeed.
So as a thing of like
You did get hit with the lightning
suffice to say,
full-on lightning bolt.
after a certain duration during the interrogation, he whisked him away, though I'm surprised he didn't do it quite earlier.
Collecting up over the time, they
Same.
burst into a ball of flames.
Octuma, Lil Duskweaver.
I stopped them. Oh well.
I'll send him, we'll send you his regards. So suffice to say is he will be targeting me.
I see. If this is the case, I would very much recommend having an escort wherever you go. I can help provide some of that if you wish. As long as you're in the Undercity, I can help provide part of the Coalition a defense for you.
And that could work.
Indeed.
We'll see what happens. I am fully prepared. I know what... I'm familiar with what he can do. So it wouldn't surprise me if he tries at any point now.
I agree. But I'm unsure if his target still remains to be Avalon in the coming future, but if the two of us stick together, I doubt that he'll overcome our combined forces.
I'm gonna talk to you later.
Indeed.
Things to discuss. Hello, Miss Alice.
Yeah, do I know you?
Oh, shit.
I suppose there wasn't much information that the Octuma Vision gleaned.
You really, man, that one's
No, I was privy to his origin.
Still working on it. Been a busy day.
This time is why he's so vengeful against us.
Did you by chance get any
But
did you get any
one thing for certain.
anything from no plan? Yeah,
The Shadow Wyverns have movement within the wasteland.
Down in the wasteland. So,
That they do.
didn't get a chance.
I've received word
10
that
minutes till the end of session. 10 minutes till the end of session.
they may be searching for something.
It is safe to assume that
I'll talk to you, Miss Alice, in a minute.
the downed Traverse ship was scrubbed of all information. All data and information. He said, and I'm not concerned of him, he's probably privy aware of this call conversation, since it was his agent.
Indeed.
He said, they shut down the ship because they got too close.
They generally don't last long into the cell.
I see.
Just how it is.
Well, we did, listen, all of us tried very hard to, like,
I told them
And to clarify, who shot down who?
Stop and nail, they're too small. So if we shoot them, they explode because they're so small. The bullet just goes into them and explodes them. So.
The Shadow
Well,
Wyverns.
see, I got one right in
No
the
way.
shell, and it was enough to crack the shell and fucking...
And this vessel was
fuck 'em up.
fully traversed.
So he was kind of still alive, but he started talking about how he wanted
Correct.
to burn, like...
It was a Traverse vessel.
So I talked to him.
I see. So that must have been a scouting ship sent up towards the larger one.
No, I'm certainly not teaching him that.
Correct.
Right.
Get a cool lighter out of it, though.
Yeah, they said that they weren't causing a lot of damage or whatever, and it was. But
Have we heard any measure as to what Traverse's fleets currently have in the area?
Regardless, you go lighting little fires.
No clue. I haven't had very much relations with Traverse at this point. I've been meaning to discuss matters with them, but I haven't had a chance.
Indeed. Perhaps I can set up a meeting for a few days from now for both of us to speak with one of their lieutenants.
Would be a good idea.
Honestly, that was the most...
Very good. I'll put that in the works.
Really?
I'm thankful for it, though. I'm thankful that's the only exciting thing.
Is there anything else that was pertinent?
Getting shot at in the Undercity, though. Yeah.
Not much, just more as rhetoric that they want the corporates out.
Hoping that we don't have a repeat of that.
They want to
Indeed.
get us strangled here, and the Undercity is the staging ground.
Nobody got killed.
And the Undercity is theirs.
With some people, but
Oh, well, I mean, technically people died, but...
Right.
we had people die in the other city. Who died?
Technically, yeah.
So...
I imagine if you go through any
And they clutter around there. They were taking people because we didn't hear their word. Innocent people.
That was paralyzed very badly, and we had
Imagine what they would imagine what people would think when they would find out that there was freakish abominations that were be made of these people.
Is the KR1 unit?
Precisely.
Dreadful shame.
Human brain. So the two classes, yeah.
they were an enemy combatant, so I didn't
There is
count them among
a bit that I would like to follow up with that exact thought after we make sure that you're clean. There are some ideas that we have in the works that could be incredibly useful.
In the moment they are, but at the same time, it's like, well, probably could have done
Indeed.
better of a job.
We probably, but at the same
Information
time,
is
they were given
sometimes the best thing, the strongest weapon you have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't see them throughout the day, so I don't know. I just saw the aftermath.
I saw
But that's about as much wanted before he whisked him back away.
some petty theft. They snapped a man's
I
neck,
see.
and a few other things before they started
Well,
shooting.
what we learned was good at least.
I would like to have known
I'm not saying they
what
didn't
the fuck was
deserve it.
going on with that.
I'm not saying they didn't say they deserve it or whatever. It's just, well, still death.
Indeed.
That's true.
For now. I suppose going forward,
Anyways, other than that,
we'll see what happens.
Indeed. I'll be continuing the defensive steps. We'll be ready for tomorrow.
oh yeah.
Very good.
Well, I'm gonna head back to the hotel.
And we don't have much time before the
I'll make
sweepers
sure
come.
that I'm
Yeah, I'm gonna head back up. I figured it's about time to head probably up. So.
Alrighty.
Do take care. Have a good evening.
Hotel room number 3. Hey,
I'm not going to forget you, Fortuna. I will find you. I promise. Your parents will see you again. It's been much too long of a day. Do take care, Amelia. Have a good night.
Uh-huh. Yep, night.
No.
Whoa.
Wowee.
Well, guess who's
I
on
shot
Mr.
the other
Nowhere's top? Guess who's on Mr. Nowhere's top list again?
Yep.
Welcome back to the shit list. Glad you could join us.
Let's go. Let's go. You got 4 hands? Let's go. I got you.
Oh god, I'm having a headache.
Oh,
boy.
actually lights. Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that how they were doing that?
Yep. They kept lighting things on fire.
Trying to light you off. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was the first person I electrocuted with a bolt
Yeah.
of lightning. So, making
Nice.
I came out of an alley right as you did that too, and I was like,
so
oh shit.
basically that
I'm gonna
captain
let
that we
her get
captured-
that one.
You didn't tell, like,
Yeah.
Lilith didn't know you had
I
anti-magic
had that bottle
procedures
I
going there.
picked
She had
up.
no
I
idea
was
about
trying
this,
to cut
that
them
thing.
off
So
and
basically,
Mm.
she
smack
she
them.
oversaw the
Blood doing good
interrogation
work.
of the captain.
Oh,
And
yeah.
eventually,
jumped on
the
him and like tackled because I'm fast.
Mr. Norway popped him back and saying like he'll basically
I
be
wanna kill
seeing
him,
both
but
of
at
us.
the same time, they're being a dipshit.
Wonderful.
It's actually potentially going to cause problems. So down the
Yep.
road.
I mean,
you
I
heard
didn't
what
have
said at
necessary
the tea shop.
information. What?
You heard what
I
I said at
mean,
the tea shop. I said you
I wasn't
need to stop
informed,
lighting
so
fires
what
or you get
was I
shot
to
in the
do?
face. Which one you want to pick?
Yep.
And
I mean, you still got good
the other
info.
one, So
Snail murder.
Yeah.
It's like I
Mhm.
was really tempted to try and just like a GM call like a psychophant to roll for me, but I don't like doing that. I don't
But yeah, we can definitely paint those abominations in a good light. We'll get Trident on this. We'll get a smear piece on them.
Mhm.
Hopefully we can get some
Yeah,
desertions.
just terrorists abduct people, turn into monsters.
Amelia's
Yep.
trauma dumping was fun, at least. So at least you had somebody to talk to.
No, it was good.
That's exactly
man.
the angle I was
That's
going
what
for.
wanted to. Like some of the
Yeah.
session I spent just like
And
literally laying down on the floor.
Fritz just had an interview with fucking Trident too that like kind of called him out too a
2
little bit.
minutes
You
until
know.
the end of session.
I'm
Sorry to hear that. That really fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I still
No.
They were asking questions like,
Bud, I want to mention real quick.
was it? They were asked just general questions about it and stuff like that, and I was like, they're like, do you know what they're after? I was like, I don't care what they're after because the moment you kill a kid, you lose all credibility, and kill innocent civilians, you lose all credibility in whatever your cause might
Be
be.
careful with the gun.
Stop shooting!
I fucking forgot about that. Damn it.
Someone's having a panic attack. In the room.
You're a samurai.
And then what else? Oh yeah, they said
You're a samurai. Come on.
they asked if like there was any
Yeah, but you don't get to die with
pro
honor.
Shadow Wyvern sentiments or people that supported them in the Undercity, and I'm like, I have not heard a single person in the Undercity that supports that
I
cause.
learned this character, some fucking
If
shit
you've
from Apple.
like, I'm like, if you've heard
Yeah,
about
make sure
that,
you
that's
really
news
don't
to
lose
me.
track of
So,
your blood. Yeah, no, definitely
and
really
honestly,
don't
I'm
lose
pretty
track
sure
of
that
your
there's
blood
some
over
individuals
blood.
even in the Shadow Wyverns that don't
Yeah,
support
I
it.
mean,
And I was
that
like,
made me
fucking
very
for those of
I was
you,
like,
if you're
wow,
listening,
okay.
if you want out,
Man.
get out now. Like now's
Nice.
the time to do
Beginning
it.
of the session, I was just wandering around and I just overheard Avalon, Project Blood. I was like, that's not
Because
good.
the Undercity has a zero
Yeah.
tolerance for
I'm
this
watching
shit.
you.
No.
Watching me. Don't touch me.
I had bizarre adventures with Kenji and Waste.
And yeah, Liette told me about the
Don't find out.
We nearly entered a place where
deposit, mineral
Bored
deposit.
myself.
Hmm.
Oh,
So
no, I
guess
was
who
having
has
fucking
access to
shit with it,
minerals
man. I
now?
like the
Nice.
Same here. And talk about things
Hey.
that, believe it or not, that's exactly what Amelia needed. Over the
Yeah,
last few days.
Shimetsu,
That's what-
Shimetsu is going to use that as a theme for them now.
That's the best thing I kept mentioning is rain.
And no, and they're
I thought they already
working.
were.
Out with them because they shot me.
I thought that the,
No, they
the
weren't.
volcanium stuff was
So
already
it's like,
being
I lost
used
the
by
only
Shimetsu.
non-corporate friend I had, so now my character's getting attached to you. 'cause
I
you're the
don't
one
think
that's,
they
like,
were.
Not necessarily
Hmm.
nice, but also
I thought that's what
me,
powers a lot of.
you don't got any other affiliates.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I could have sworn that that's a lot of.
It's a lot easier to
Yeah, I
befriend
don't
somebody
know.
that's not
Thank you for coming, you guys.
Yeah.
Today was good.
Just chill.
Just one
Also,
just
hopefully
one
I got magic
reminder.
too.
Real quick, you guys, listen up, listen up. Just want to let you all know.
It's a. I guess this could be a new site they could go for, which is
Real
like
quick, you guys, sorry to interrupt. Just need to let you all know that we are not playing on Monday. We are not going to be playing on Monday. We are going to do a non-can night instead. So if you want to still come by and roleplay, it will be a non-canon night. But we hope you had fun tonight. Thank you for playing, and I'm sorry stuff got sad sometimes. Woo!
Imagine sad.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you so much for watching. I think I'm going to end session here.
Hey.
I hope you all enjoyed watching and have a wonderful night. See you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.